Well, cyber crimes are now creeping into India's favorite vacation spots. Goa, Kerala, Himachal, Jammu and Kashmir and even the Andamans have all reported a surge in online scams targeting tourists. Fake hotel websites, cloned resort listings and bogus payment links are trapping travelers before they even start their trips. Some rackets have run for months, collecting advance bookings for properties that don't exist on ground. Police in several states are now setting up cyber units and awareness drives to track these frauds. Experts say travelers are most vulnerable when they rely entirely on digital payments and social media promotions for bookings. This story has been reported by Ankush Sharma from CNNnews18.com. But we need to decode this morning, break down all of these patterns. How really does this kind of scam work? And what can realistically keep tourists safe? Joining us now is Dr. Muktesg Chander, former DGP Goa and Shivaning Cyber Security Fellow at Cranfield University, UK. We'll also be joined by a second guest who's going to come in on the cyber law aspect of things. But do remember, this story is not a story that we're picking up just from North India. Across the India, we've seen some of these tourist hotspots reporting a very high number of cyber security frauds, digital frauds, and most of these are linked to digital payments online. So for instance, Goa, we've seen a surge in numbers, especially if we look at pre-2021 and post-2021 scenario. The last 4-5 years, essentially, we've seen a 5-time jump in the numbers of digital frauds being reported, and most of them pertaining to tourists. And that's what's very tricky here and needs to be decoded. What really can tourists do typically in this kind of a scenario? Where do they go with the first complaint? What kind of evidences should they keep in mind while filing a complaint? And something that's going to work in their favor, because estimates have suggested, and we'll try and put out a little bit of research on that front as well, that anywhere between 40 to 50,000 is the minimum amount that tourists end up losing out on typically when they're being frauded or scammed digitally in these tourist hotspots. So let's talk a little bit about the states that are under cyber attack. I began by talking about Goa. Goa is one, Kerala, Himachal, Jammu and Kashmir, Andamans, all of them emerging as cybercrime hotspots. There's an alarming spike in online frauds and they're targeting travelers. Popular holiday spots turning into hunting grounds for cyber criminals. And this is a racket that essentially is operating through and through. Some of these tourist destinations specifically are looking at these rings, and there's a heavy crackdown that's underway as well. But rising dependence on digital bookings is what is under scanner. Digital bookings, digital payments, these are essentially the mode of digital scam that is essentially being witnessed in some of these places. I do want to go across to Khusbu Jain, who joins us on the broadcast this morning. She is an expert on cyber security law, cyber law, who's going to be breaking down what the tech really here has been. What is it that these fraudsters are doing essentially to scam so many tourists across the country? Khusbu, good morning. Thank you for taking out the time and being with here on the Breakfast Club to talk about this all-important story, because we don't want to disappoint our tourists, isn't it? Khusbu, let's begin by what your analysis here is. What do you think is happening here? Digital payments is the only mode of payment that we're now looking at, especially for foreigners. So foreign tourists are heavily relying on this mode of payment. How are they being scammed? What's been your analysis through and through?
See, it becomes very easy for criminals to understand that entire offline traveling, where we used to call the travel agent and book things, or we would go offline, has now turned into an aspect where travel is completely digitized. People want to do all the bookings right from flights to hotels to taxis to anything when it comes to local guides. Everything is now digitized. Even in India, for Indians and also foreigners coming to India, they would prefer booking pre-booking everything, because travel after pandemic is on so much hike that people don't want to lose on availability when they reach the spot. Gone are those days where people would go and find and check out the hotel and do it on the spot. People want to pre-plan and keep it. With this, I think the criminals are taking benefit of this. And that's where what they're doing is there are different kinds of scams that are happening when it comes to tourism industry. One can be that the scammers usually clone up websites or advertisements that look identical to the trusted platforms such as Make My Trip, Booking.com, Ease My Trip, or any other platform for that matter, which is well known and trusted among the people, locally and internationally. Now, by cloning these websites, they practically look alike. The moment you put in your credentials is where they get all your details. Number one. Number two, a lot of times, even if you get the receipt, you pay the money, you get the receipt, but in reality, those places have never been existing, or even if they exist, they are just the clone of those places. Like, for example, there would be independent places where I would say that, okay, this is an amazing spot. They would create that listing on those websites, but those listings never existed. Number two. Number three, there has been also seen that India being one of the places when it comes to pilgrimage and tourism, when it comes to these sites, the helicopter are scarcity when it comes to places like Kedarnath and those areas to reach, and people want a convenience over anything, and that's where people are taking benefit of that as well. While they're cloning the websites, they're taking the bookings. There are travel agents who have booked, make their own websites or their listings on Google, and that's where people would book it, and when they reach that place, there is nothing. At times you get the receipt, at times you don't get the receipt, at times those places exist, at times there is nothing like that is existing, making use of AI, and it looks absolutely how it is, and getting those fake people are putting their comments onto it that this was one of the best places we have stayed and everything. So that reliability.
So they're also faking reviews, is what you're telling us.
Reviews, absolutely. Thank you so much. So reviews are also being faked upon. So one has to be very cautious nowadays, because these scamsters have become very smart, from cloning websites to creating new websites. It has been said that from last 1 year.
But how is it going unchecked? Because if at all people are falling prey to these fake websites, so they're pretending to be a well-renowned chain of hotels or a fancy villa in a place like Goa or Kerala, but they're managing to dupe people by creating this fake website, having them book on this website, and their money is gone in a click's distance, right? In a click's moment. How is this going unchecked, Khusbu?
It's not going unchecked. Practically what happens is these criminals are very smart. It takes only approximately $50 to create a new app and get yourself registered, or to create databases already there with them. All they have to do is create again and again. Like, for example, if something is got today, you and me report, and after it's reported, it is being taken down either by the app stores or the platform, or the Indian government blocks those URL in the Indian jurisdiction. Apart from, after that, they create one more, then they create another one. So even places like, for example, a famous app like a Booking.com or a Make My Trip, or a hotel chain which is very famous like Marriott or Taj or anything for that matter, even if they check, every day they come up with new websites, new booking places, new search engines where they say that we're gonna do it, and they give you a price which is lesser than what has been shown, or it gives you better deals, it gives you better offers when it comes to breakfast, it gives you better offers when it comes to other things. So it's not getting unchecked practically, but every day thousands of new websites, new URLs, new links, new things are being created by these fraudsters, and they keep coming in. So the volume and the continuity is so high by the criminals that now we as government, we as law enforcement agencies, we as platforms have to come together and do a real-time patrolling. Continuous real-time patrolling has to be done, which is need of the hour, and sharing of this information seamlessly, not just at the national level, but at the international level, among all these things, among the platform, among the internet service providers, among the law enforcement agencies and others, so that together the whole world can fight against these cyber criminals. And I think there are some apps, if I take some more time of yours to just understand this part, WHOIS. Remember this, WHOIS. This is nothing but a place where you can go and check the credentials of any app, which is any website or app which is registered. Now, how do you check the website ka details? It will tell you who has got this domain, who's the owner of it, what are the details of those people, and apart from that, when it was bought. So a lot of times when I create an app, let's say there is a very credible resource or a website, now there is a fake website. That credibility of that website is it's existing from 10 years. They will not register an app or a website which is 10 days
Yeah.
before, 2 days before, or 20 days before. So check when it was registered. It is very important. WHOIS. Apart from this, I think Ministry of Home Affairs has also got something called as cybercrime.gov.in. There is a specific portion on that cybercrime.gov.in which is called as suspect. Check suspect. So when you click on that, that specific button, you can check mobile numbers, UPI IDs, you can check bank account details, you can check websites, you can put in app details and check if it has already been reported by somebody and it is a suspect. The moment it comes as a suspect, be little cautious, take a step back. Something like that has
Okay.
been done with governments, and yes, you can keep that in the real tap and don't fall prey to.
So I hope people are making notes already this morning, and these two names have already been noted. People are going to keep in mind when they're planning their next holiday. And in case you forget this, do remember there's always an option to reach out to the hotel where you're making a booking, cross-check with them whether or not this is authentic or they're falling for some sort of a digital scam. Khusbu, we'll come back to you in just a bit. And what else can tourists do if they're being frauded and they're completely unaware? But Dr. Muktesg Chander, former DGP Goa, is through with us now. Good morning, Dr. Chander. Dr. Chander, who better than you to tell us why we're looking at this hike in numbers? So in Goa, for instance, and I was just going through some reports, from 2021 to 2025, we've seen a 5-time increase in how foreigners are digitally being frauded. What explains this pattern? Of course, increased digitalization is number one. But what else do you make of this growing trend?
See, first of all, we have to understand the psychology behind these cyber crimes related to travel, tourism, and visa industry. Something which is too good to be true isn't true. That is what is the first fundamental principle. As Khusbu was telling, there are hundreds of websites. Even who she is mentioning is not of help, because most of the times the information behind these is hidden. So who will not reveal any detail about it. And these websites come up every day. So what we are supposed to do is, for example, I will give you one, SastaSafar.com.
Okay.
This website is still up. Everybody will go and believe Sasta Safar, bada acha safar hai, Sasta Safar hai. But there are several alleged complaints about this website. It is still up. Its location is supposed to be in Delhi. And non-existing hotels, non-existing flight tickets, non-existing confirmations are provided. And after that, you keep on hanging for the refund. So instead of, you rely on your basic instincts. If it is too good to be true, it is not true. Go on the trusted websites of hotels directly, or on the flight ticket booking intermediaries to book your ticket. Any XYZ website offering you cheap tickets or last minute deals is definitely not good. About Goa, if I'm talking about, Goa is used as a destination to fraud. Not necessarily the frauds are happening in Goa. Yes, a lot of foreigners come to Goa. The local population is 15 lakhs, whereas more than 70-80 lakh tourists come. So frauds are bound to happen, but the place does not matter. Any tourist place will be attracted. The person doing it may be sitting at any part of the country or even abroad. The second point is, look at the payment gateway. Where are you paying? When you are trying to pay, the UPI ID or any bank account will be of somebody else, not of the hotel, not of that place. And of course, reviews can be faked. Everything on internet can be faked. If you search Sasta Safar, cheap tickets, this website, SastaSafar.com, will come up on the first, because it is sponsored. The Google listings, do not believe them at all unless you are familiar with a place or something. I have seen a lot of people walking in famous hotels in Goa saying that we have got a confirmed booking, but when they go there, they find that either the hotel is non-existent or the booking does not exist.
But Dr. Muktesg, that's not the only challenge. That's one big part of how these scams are unfolding. But there's small little details that need to be tracked very carefully. For instance, fake QR codes. Now, how do you go about identifying that? Not just that, there are people who are creating fake IDs on social media, they're pretending to be either bloggers or tourist guides, and people are falling in that trap too. So there are so many ways these fraudsters are being able to dupe people.
Yes, you're right. The UPI ID right now in the Government of India's new direction, when you pay a UPI, the bank account and the name associated with will has to be compulsorily displayed. So try paying 1 rupee and see where has it gone. Who is the recipient? Is it the hotel or is it some XYZ bank account?
What about street vendors? Because now everybody has their UPI or GPay, in their hands, and that's the only mode of payment that people are aware of. Gone are those days that people are keeping cash with them, especially foreign tourists.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But the point is, how do you distinguish between a genuine website, which is, digitally very easy to book, and a fraudulent website? That is where these tips are very necessary. Too good to be true is not true. Which URL you are finding? Is it a very new one recently? And the simplest answer I can give right now is those who use AI. Go to ChatGPT or Grok and ask, are there complaints against this website? Now, for example, try this. For all the viewers, I'm saying, try sastasafar.com and ask Grok. Is it a reliable website? And then the Grok will give you hundreds of complaints about this website. And I'm sorry, it is still up. The location is in Delhi, somewhere in South Delhi. That may not be true. The phone numbers are not true. So today the problem is that a SIM card or a WhatsApp number and a bank account is easy to be obtained using fraudulent means. And then the money gone in them cannot be traced.
And the money doesn't
easily.
come back. That's
So
the hardest pill to
media.
swallow. That's the hardest pill to swallow. Dr.
Instagram.
Muktesg, I'll come back to you in just a bit. We want to leave our audiences with a quick tip. So anyone planning a vacation, Khusbu, tell us what they should keep in mind. What steps should they take immediately after they've been victim to a digital scam or a cyber scam in a foreign location?
Okay. First, verify the legitimacy of the website before making any payments. Use official portals or well-known trusted travel agencies for booking. Checking URL again. There can be, like for example, simple Google.
But if the mistake has happened, Khusbu, if the money is gone, what are the first few steps you need to take? How do you take this to the law enforcement agencies and ensure justice comes your way?
Okay. First and foremost, wherever money is involved when it comes to cybercrime, 1930. I'll repeat again, 1930 is the number that you have to keep in mind. Call that number 1930, block all those, give details of the transaction details when it happened, and make sure that you register a complaint over there. Now, what 1930 does is, till 6 to 7 layer, it tries to locate your money that has traveled and try to block that. Like for example, if I have transferred a money in the account of X, from X it has gone to Y, Y to Z, it will try to see that entire chain and try to block your money. So at least money part is taken care. Immediately at the same time, try to call your bank or UPI, wherever the payment gateway or the bank from where you have done the transaction. If it's credit card, one of the best things to do when you're doing international payments, use credit card. Call the bank and try to block it. There are a lot of provisions where credit card, the transfer has yet not happened. It takes some time. You can block the transactions, or else even if you report it within timeline, they take care of that part. So calling your bank accounts and blocking it. The third that you can go is go to cybercrime.gov.in, register a complaint. You will get a complaint number. That complaint number is the one which you can even utilize it in 1930. Now, after all these things, if you are located in your place, go to nearest cyber police station or any police station for that matter and register a complaint. That's the next.
And what evidence should you have in order to ensure that your case is solid?
Take a screenshot of everything. Like for example, if you have gone on a platform like Facebook or Instagram, and from there you have got some link and then you have done the payment, or you have seen some influencer putting something and asked you, keep screenshots of the start till end, everything that has happened. Even your transaction details take the screenshot. Which account have you transferred? Take the screenshot. Take apart from screenshot, click on that URL and take that entire URL and copy paste it. Keep it with you. have these things ready as an evidence, then not more than a 1 or a 2 paragraph of entire thing that has happened, from where you went, you got this information, where you clicked, where you transferred the money, what exactly happened. Even if the money is not transferred, try to report those suspect accounts so that repository is being maintained and others do not get fall prey.
Yeah.
So be very cautious about the part that it can be no money, it can be 10 rupees, it can be 40 rupees.
And don't trick yourself into this whole ease of digital payments. Be very careful. Watch out for the signs. Double check no matter what. Thank you so much, Khusbu. Thank you, Dr. Muktesg, for joining us this morning, decoding this brilliant story for us, because it's important that we spread awareness around issues that need to be addressed and are the need of the hour.